Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys taking a little time to check the video out today. And I want to have a sort of a wide-ranging talk today, guys, on sort of the state of professional bass fishing, how it's morphed into something that's sort of unrecognizable a little bit. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this video is you guys see the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail of the top 10 anglers at the Bassmaster Open that's going on at Lake of the Ozarks right now. And I got looking at that. Guys, I don't know any one of who those people are on there. It's like I wouldn't know them if I saw them in Walmart or something. And I found that strange that as connected as I am to professional fishing, that there would be that many anglers like in the top 10 of a Bassmaster event that I have no clue who they are. So I sort of want to get into a broader topic on that sort of overview, what that means exactly. So we'll get into that in today's video. But hey guys, before we started, just a daily housekeeping tip. I just wanted to remind you guys about two of our things we offer at fishingamoment.com. You guys, I know I'm working with Johnny Schultz there. We have our virtual lessons where you guys can book a 1-hour lesson with me and we can go over any topic you want to on the world and fishing, whatever. Also, we have our lake map breakdowns, which are good resources to learn more about any lake you're fishing, your favorite lake in the country. And if you're interested in that, just I'll put the link in the description of this video and you guys can check that out, fishingamoment.com. Okay, here guys, that's the main thing of the video is like that picture. That came across my Facebook feed this morning and I got looking at it and I just found that really odd and maybe just even disturbing a little bit, that I didn't know who any of those guys were. And I'm not taking away from anything from those guys. I mean, they're having a great tournament, but I just don't know who they are. And it got me thinking about how much things have changed over the past 20, specifically the past 20 years in fishing, in the fact that how prevalent this is. Now, it used to be back, 25, 30 years ago, everybody knew everybody. It's like when there was the top 100s, the top 150s on the Bassmaster tournament circuit, everybody knew who everybody was out there. There wasn't any like if somebody new came along, that was an exception to the rule. That was very rare. But now more than ever, we see like in the Bassmaster Elite Series out there, every single year there's more and more people out there that we don't know who they are. It's like there's new qualifiers, there's people coming from different areas out there. And for me, even on the Bassmaster Elite Series right now, half of the anglers, I don't know who they are, guys. I've never heard of them before. I wouldn't know them if they walked up to me. And that is just like something that's never happened before in the sport. So the point of the matter is this something that's a positive or a negative to our sport? Now, I think there's a little bit of both on that, because I know that one of the things, say for example, that one of the reasons that the women's professional golf circuit has sort of went downhill a lot in the recent years is that very thing happened with them. It's like there got to be so many new faces in the sport that came about every single week that the fans lost interest in it, because there wasn't any people that they could relate to or follow for year after year after year. There was such an influx of new people and such a turnover that their ratings just tanked because of that. And it's sort of what we're going to see a little bit in professional fishing. I think the more that you see new faces out there and faces that constantly turn over, I think that the fans sort of they lose the interest in that a little bit. I think there's an element there that is undeniable. That's one aspect of it. But the other aspect, and really the point of the video I wanted to talk about more than anything in this wide-ranging topic, is the fact that how much professional fishing has changed over the past 25 or 30 years, and not for the better. And one of the things that I've always talked about when I talk about tournament fishing is I discourage people from becoming professional fishermen. And I do that sort of, out of concern for them a little bit, because professional fishing, guys, it's never been tougher to make a living in it than it is right now. It is a hard way to make a living. It's an extremely stressful way to make a living. And more than anything else, it's a very selfish way to make a living. And I can say this because I've done it, guys. I've been in the trenches for 35 years. I've earned the right to say this. I'm not talking like some armchair angler. I have paid with blood, sweat, and tears for what I'm telling you guys right here. And when I say that professional angling is a selfish sport, what I mean by that is that in order for somebody to be successful as a professional angler, you're number one, you're gone all the time. You're away from home, you're away from your family, your friends all the time. That alone puts stress on relationships. It puts stress on family lives. It's not fair to the kids if you leave them at home. It's a very selfish sport. And I'll say it again, if professional bass fishing is a selfish sport if you're a professional angler. And again, I can say that because I've been a professional angler for 30 years. And that's the toughest thing about it. Second thing beyond that is you have your stress levels. Now, in professional fishing, stress levels, in my opinion, are 90% caused by financial stress. And the disturbing trend that we have in professional fishing now is the fact that we have got so many financially independent, wealthy people that are pro anglers that do not have that financial pressure behind them. Because anymore, make no mistake about it, professional bass fishing has become an elitist sport. It's not the same as it was when I started out. I didn't have any money whatsoever. Bassmaster entry fees were only $600 per tournament. There were only 6 tournaments. Everything was cheaper out there. So you could do it and not have money and work a job. You can't do it now, guys. You can't cough up $50,000 a year in entry fees and another $50,000 in expenses and another $50,000 with your home expenses. You can't do it unless you come from a wealthy family or you're wealthy yourself. It's almost literally impossible to do it. And you can't rely on winnings because, guys, winnings have went down the tube in professional fishing. The professional fishing now pays less than it has in the past 30 years, and the entry fees are higher, which that's another topic we'll get into there. That's a completely other topic. But the point of the matter is unless you have a super strong sponsor base, which is nearly impossible because it gets back to the point of the video, that thumbnail about unknown anglers out there. The reason sponsorships are so difficult to get anymore is that companies don't need to sponsor anglers because there's too many bass anglers, and those anglers have got to have equipment and they're going to buy it regardless. They don't need to be sponsored by it. So as we get more circuits and we get more anglers out there, the less the sponsors have to sponsor somebody. They simply don't have to do it. So sponsorships are harder than they've ever been to get. And the good sponsorships out there right now are either reserved for like the top 5% of anglers out there, or they're reserved for people that have, like, they know somebody that knows somebody, or they're a friend of the family, or some buddy of theirs owns a big company. It's sort of like it's a who you know type deal. So from that standpoint, I discourage people to want to become a professional angler, with the exception is if you're ate up with it. Now, in my opinion, the only people that really should consider being professional anglers are, number one, they're single. They don't have a wife or kids, and they don't have a family that they have to be around a lot. And they're willing to, suffer and sacrifice and spend all their time on the water and not have any social life whatsoever, not date anybody or whatever. And they put 100% of their effort into being professional anglers. And the only people I know that do that are the Japanese anglers. The Japanese anglers are extremely disciplined, and that's why you see most of them are super successful, because they have a sacrifice and a discipline ethic to them that is beyond anything I've ever seen out there. So anyway, we could go on and on about this video, but anyway, the point of it is there's twofold here. I found it sort of shocking that I did not know that those guys, they were complete strangers that made the top 10. I didn't know any of them. And the fact that this is more common, it's becoming more prevalent all the time. And even though it may be a reality of the sport, I don't see it being something good for the sport. Now, what can you do about it? I mean, it's like you can't discourage, new people from coming into the sport. I'm not saying that there's anything that can or should be done about it. It's sort of the reality of the manifestation of professional fishing based upon the fact that there's more tournament organizations than there ever has been before. I mean, that's sort of the byproduct of that. When you've got more opportunities and you have less influence by one organization, you're going to have something like that about it. So overall, is it a good thing for the sport? I don't think so. I really don't think it's a good thing for the sport. Just the same with the LPGA, golf circuit out there. Just another one of those things. It's just another one of those challenges that the sport has. It's the same with like all the TV ratings are tanking for Bassmaster and MLF, during the live scope shows. It's stuff that has to be acknowledged and figured out. I mean, if we want to have some type of long-term sustainability in the sport. So anyway, guys, let me know what you all think. We'll talk later.